Greetings, my name is Nina. Welcome back to my channel. So I haven't filmed in a long time. In the meantime, I got my bangs back. Everybody says I look better with bangs, so I'm keeping them. Anyway, in this video, I wanna talk about books from Norway. I discovered 5 books. Well, 3 of them are graphic novels, and I'm going to show them in the video. There is this program called Norla, aka Norwegian Literature Abroad. This program is dedicated to promoting books by Norwegian authors abroad, and this program did a pretty good job. So I found these books and I read them and I liked them. I do kind of wish we had our own Norla here in Georgia, Georla or something, Georgian Literature Abroad. That would help me a lot as a writer. Okay, anyway, I'm going to talk about these 5 books. So 2 of these books are fiction, 2 are non-fiction, and the one is an interesting example. It's a hybrid of both. It's both fiction and non-fiction, and if you read that book, you probably know which book I mean. 3 of these books are actually graphic novels. So let's get started. So I want to start with a graphic novel. It's Save Our Forest by Nora Dosnes. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. This is a graphic novel in Georgian. Yeah, they promote a lot of Norwegian literature in Georgia. So this is a graphic novel about a girl named Bao. Here, this girl in red. So there's this forest near her school where she and her friends play. She discovers that the council has decided to destroy the forest in order to build I think it's autobahn or a road. I did not speak English in a long time, so I forgot, but anyway, they're going to build a road for cars, and Bao decides to protest it. So I finished reading this graphic novel a few days ago, so now as I'm filming, it's July 11th. I read it and I really liked the novel, although I was a bit annoyed by the main character. While I understand where she came from, I did find her to be a bit obnoxious. After I bought this graphic novel, I found out that this is actually a sequel. It's a sequel to another graphic novel. I unfortunately do not know the title. So yeah, lots of activism in this book, particularly climate activism. So this graphic novel is around 200 pages long, at least the Georgian edition is. The next book is a comic book series, not a graphic novel, but a comic book series, and this is Northern Lights by Marlene Falk. So this is the first volume. It's called The Valley of the Trolls. I know that there are 6 of those, but into Georgian they only translated 3. And I only read 2, even though I have the 3rd one as well. And the drawings, they kind of look very Disney to me. The comics, they follow a girl named Sonia who receives a gift from her uncle, and then on the very same night after she receives the gift, there is this boy in her house who goes to this parallel world, and she follows him. And this is the start of their adventures. Sonia ends up in the Valley of the Trolls, and obviously she is pretty out of place there at first, but she is determined to do the right thing nonetheless. Wait, just look at this. Did you remember that I said that this looks very Disney-ish, and this reminded me of Brother Bear. I think, yeah, it's definitely inspired by Brother Bear, the animated film from Disney. And finally, the last graphic novel / comic. This is non-fiction. This is Women in Battle by Marta Breen and also Ian Urdali. So this is historical non-fiction, and this is about the fight for women's rights in a nutshell. Yeah, the history explained in a form of comics. Next over here is a book. It's a non-fiction book regarding one of my favorite topics ever. For those of you who are watching me for the first time, I'm obsessed with music and I have a lot of videos about Spotify Wrapped and also talking about music in general. And I love books with music themes. And when I found out that there was this book about music, I just had to have it, and it's called The Music and the Brain. Arebrian and Geir Ulveskaye. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce these names. This non-fiction book analyzes how music affects us on a physical level, especially how it affects our brains, and the importance of tones in music and so on. And what does music do with the brain, and what's a talent? And how does neuroscience explain music? So this is the book regarding that topic. And also how music helps us with anxiety, how music helps us fight it. The line over here says, the music can heal the ill mind, and also what philosophers said about music. I think you have seen this infamous Hans Christian Andersen quote, when words fail, music speaks. So yeah, this book basically about it, and unfortunately, as far as I know, it has not been translated into English, but it was translated into Russian. And also, it also explains how our brain works. And finally, the last book in this video, but there's going to be more books by Norwegian authors when I find them. And this is half fiction, half non-fiction, and you probably guessed what this is about. And of course, it's Sophie's World by Jostein Gaarder. And recently this book was translated into Georgian. I saw the Georgian edition in a bookstore with this exact cover. Can you imagine? I've never heard of Sophie's World. Absolutely never. And then I entered this bookstore and I found this book on not so popular shelf in a bookstore. So in this book there's this girl named Sophie, and she is 14 years old, and one day she starts receiving letters from an anonymous person, and in those letters there are philosophy lessons. So basically this is philosophy explained. And then Sophie discovers a connection to a girl named Hilda, and Sophie tries to discover what's going on. Why does she keep receiving letters from this anonymous person, and who is Hilda, and what's going on? So this book is incredible that it's both fiction and non-fiction. I think that it's a blend over here. This book does portray philosophical topics properly. So the philosophical aspect of this book is quite accurate. There is this info about Aristotle, Plato, and so on. I do wish that Friedrich Nietzsche got a bigger part in this book, but there's only a few words towards the end of the book. This book explains the philosophy of the world in chronological order. And then what happens over here? Well, there's a twist. And things become a bit absurd. You know, when I was reading this book, sometimes I forgot that I was reading non-fiction for teenagers. So if you are interested in philosophy and you do not know where to start, I definitely recommend picking up this book. And this isn't just non-fiction, this is also fiction, and you also have a story in here. And that's all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. There are going to be more Norwegian authors in the future when I find the books. And I hope Norla promotes some really great authors. Yeah, thanks Norway for producing these books and promoting them. See you next time. Goodbye.